critical thing is to locate our TVET colleges to be on the same platform like TVET colleges in China and in Russia, as well as in Brazil. We will then be taking some of the TVET college graduates over to these countries for them to focus particularly on transport related qualifications. So above and beyond the program, we believe that it will bring us to a new age learning and engagement. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Program Director, and thank you very much for the invite. As the chairperson of ASEO, ASEO is a forum that is actually a forum of all the SETA CEOs where we share best practice. Today I'll be looking at the responsive and reskilling leadership in the public sector. But the reskilling of leadership should actually be done, I argue, within the context of 4IR. So in terms of what I'm going to be covering quickly is just problem statement, intro for our leadership, digital transformation, embracing technology, and then the conclusion. So in terms of the background, I think the Minister spoke to that, the fact that COVID-19 forced companies or even public sector to migrate to online platforms. There's been a slow uptake, in my view, by public sector and cities to actually get down to business in terms of putting together strategies that respond to digital transformation, particularly in the PSS system or sector. Although we do have pockets of excellence, I think it's important for integration to then be looked at to make sure that there's synthesis in terms of the work that's been done. We know about the Presidential Commission on 4IR that was established in 2019. The Department of Higher Education and Training, subsequent to that, they commissioned a research colloquium to look at the readiness of PSS system. But I think to date, we really don't have the digital transformation that we should be having. And I think there's an opportunity for us to pose this discussion today to look at how we quickly move in terms of coming up with a digital transformation strategy for the PSET sector. As we do that, I argue that it's critical and it is urgent that the public sector leadership and staff be reskilled to make sure that jobs are not lost. In terms of 4IR, I think a lot of our presenters today have looked at that. I wouldn't want to go into that, but I think it's important for me just to quickly quote our former President Nelson Mandela, who basically coined, or I think he was quite visionary in terms of his leadership, and he, 25 years ago, said if more than half the world is denied access to the means of communication, the people of developing countries will not be fully part of the modern world. For in the 21st century, the capacity to communicate will almost certainly be a key human right. Now, I think this is quite relevant in terms of what we're talking about today. And I think it was quite a visionary statement from the former president. The industrial revolutions, once more, we know that we had the first. Now we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution that is really about cyber-physical systems. Because I'm advancing the argument that digital transformation, as it is being planned, and as we are preparing to come up with national digital strategy in the PSAT system, it is important for us to talk about or to consider the rebalancing theory. The rebalancing theory really, its philosophical foundation is the integration of the mind and the machine. In other words, as we're moving forward, as we are planning for this transition and this transformation, the people should not be left behind. We need to move forward with the people, and hence the concept, the mind and the machine. We need to complement core or experts work with the work or data that is extracted from the crowd, and so that we make sure that the work that we are doing, decisions that we are making, are decisions that are informed by the people of the country, and they are decisions that will ensure that the needs of the country are actually met in relation to skills development. This rebalancing theory is a theory that has been put together by two professors from MIT University, Professor McAfee and Professor Brian Jolfson. Now, quickly moving to leadership, we know that over the years, leadership has been there and it has evolved over the years. But what is interesting for me is that while leadership has been there, conventional leadership, public sector leadership, there hasn't been much of work done there. And I think it's important for us to define our own public sector leadership that will actually embed characteristics that are required to drive performance in the public sector space. But we need to then even move beyond that and say, now that we are addressing 4IR, what type of a leader do we need to lead public sectors within the context of 4IR? Now, based on the research, the academic work that I've done, there's been interesting characteristics that have actually emerged. There is basically, you'll actually see when you look at your conventional leadership definitions, you'll have your visionary is a characteristic that will be there. You'll have maybe political mandate. When you look at leadership within public sector space, you will have your political mandate, you'll have a need for ethical leadership, and those characteristics the participants have felt that they're important to be maintained.